there's an example that I like to share about this, and it's a little bit of both, and that's automation solutions. You think about automation. There have been robotics around for a while now, but it really what happened with companies that are providing automation solutions, they go in and they work with manufacturers to automate their processes. And that industry had kind of matured to the point where there were two types of solutions that companies sold. They either were given a set of specs and they built an automation system to those specs, or they were given some performance characteristics and then they designed something that would meet those performance characteristics. And they would get paid more for the latter because that involved more design contribution. But that's really the way the industry had kind of, if you will, settled out. And there's a company that Walter and I describe and I'm pointing over here, I'll pull the book up, in the No Excuses Innovation book, which, by the way, has the box cutter.
It does, yeah.
But in No Excuses Innovation, a company called Wes-Tech Automation Solutions, and this is going back now probably 7 or maybe 8 years ago. They were approached by a company that had done manufacturing, if you will, by hand assembly, pretty large scale, but by hand assembly, and they wanted to automate it. And it was a big process. This client company had no experience. And instead of just either giving a set of specs or giving a design to Wes-Tech, they said, we want you and a bunch of competitors actually to build an entire process for us. So they challenged the suppliers in this industry to do something that hadn't been done before. And that was to work with each other, not necessarily opposing each other. So Wes-Tech had responsibility for part of this process. And because I actually, as a full disclosure, I'm on the advisory board for JVA Partners. They're the private equity group that owns Wes-Tech. I was kind of a fly on the wall for a lot of this, and I could watch the way these guys worked. And it's something unlike what anybody had done in design before, in automation system design. And they were really forced to reconcile things in ways that had not been done before. And so it's innovation in a way that we don't often think of it. We often think of innovation as a new technology,
right,
or a new physical product. And here it's a case of a new service where they're saying, we can go in and we can work with these other companies and solve our client's solution. And so